You guys voted last week. Let me show you the book real quick before I sit down. This is the book. Death by Chocolate Lab. By Bethany Blake. Definitely not a pen name. So, you know, this is our book club space. Bert's here too, don't mind him. So, you're wondering, what's that book all about? It's a murder mystery novel about pet sitter Daphne Templeton, who lives with her sister, who's a veterinarian, in the town of Sylvan Creek. And her sister is setting up a dog agility challenge event with her ex-boyfriend, Steve, at their farmhouse location. When all of a sudden, the day of the event, Steve is found dead in the dog agility tunnel. Yeah, right? And so then, of course, it's a whodunit. And because he and Piper used to date, he and the sister used to date, and they had some bad blood, the sister is a primary suspect. So dog sitter Daphne needs to clear her sister's name. Or actually, she doesn't need to fucking clear her sister's name. She just keeps putting herself in the middle of an investigation, especially considering she was the one who found the dead body. Maybe a dumb idea. Anyways, new detective moves to town. Jonathan Blake, and oh boy, is he a hottie. Has he caught the eye of Daphne? So different from her current surfer West Coast boy, Dylan, who sings at the local brewery? The local pub? I don't know. Daphne also has an obsession with cheese and has an assortment of dogs that follow her around everywhere while she offers dog sitting services. This book is supposed to introduce the series, and it's basically mostly just identifying characters, and they kill off 2 people in the book, and a third person runs away. So I don't know how many more characters they're going to introduce to this town to kill off later. But you know, it seems like a lot. I don't know how many are in this series. Anyways, there's some quality writing in here, including when Daphne is really watching the detective work, and she's really taking it into account how good of a detective he is. Once inside, he immediately began to direct the scene. "I want every piece of evidence bagged," he told the uniformed officers. "Photos from every angle." He pointed to the tunnel. "That's a blood stain. Don't miss any of those, because the fabric is red." I was preoccupied with observing Detective Black and trying to pretend that Piper wasn't glaring at me. Yeah. She's like, I don't know why this writer thinks that telling somebody to take pictures, to basically just tell him do your job, is a very impressive detective work, but apparently it was really impressive. Real impressive detective work. Yeah, the writing, not particularly great. Also, I figured out who the killer was like 30 seconds in, or, you know, like in the beginning, in the very beginning, because it's always the same thing. They introduce a whole slew of characters at the beginning of the book, and there's like one character that they just kind of barely introduce, and then like it comes up every now and again, but isn't a primary suspect. It's always that guy. It was the groundskeeper, Mr. Peachy. What kind of a name is that? Mr. Peachy. Also, they really anthropomorphize the dogs, including making a dog look like it's being judgmental of its owner consistently, including doubting her responses. I don't know. It's not great. Would not read again. Anyways, but more book club next week. Yes.
So what is the next pair of books, or triple of books, that we're going to be voting on?
It's going to be a romance novel for the next one.
It's Romance Week.
We have Winter Song, Wild and Hexy, and In Bed with King Warrior. With the Viking Warrior.
This is what we're voting on?
This is what we're voting on. We're going to vote
Wild and Hexy!
with a 51%.
Who can refuse a little hex?
You want it. I'll read that. Why do guys always watch porn? Meanwhile, they read this crap. So the big difference is, right? Men are visual, right? You see, like, you see a boob, you see a butt, you see a vag, and you're like, yeah, in the mood. Women need the mental stimulation. Also, you can put yourself in the place of a character imagine it happening to you more. I would give it, if we're going out of 5, with 5 out of 5 being a real good job, I would give it like a 3. It wasn't the worst that I've read. There weren't major inconsistencies in the book. There wasn't anything where I was like, that's just wrong. That's not how that works. But the characters, very, very one-dimensional.
3 out of what?
3 out of 5.
Pooh's in the tub?
No, I said 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Pooh's in the tub.
But yeah, one-dimensional characters. The murder was boring. It wasn't even... Somebody just like got hit with a hammer. He got bludgeoned to death with a hammer. That is not an exciting murder. Okay? How he ended up in the tub, in the tunnel. That's a good question. Also, the man that killed him was in his 70s. I don't know how he dragged him into the middle of a tunnel. That wasn't explained. How does a dog even wield a hammer? So unrealistic.
Yeah, so unrealistic.
Seriously.
2 out of 5 Albas.
Will there be a sequel? I'm sure there probably is a sequel. Also, the other thing I found really bizarre, there was a lot of focus on cell phones and people texting each other and looking at their phones. It really, really felt like they were talking about a flip phone. I don't know why, it just felt like they were talking about flip phones. But the book was written in 2007 and was making references about this happened in 2011. Also, like, you can tell, like, you can age the